Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Taurus, Sun, Moon or Rising. Taurus, this is your weekly intuitive tarot reading for May 18th to 24. We have the Sisterhood of the Rose Oracle card. We have Sattva behind that. We have the Eight of Cups, the Devil, the Empress, the Hierophant, the Seven of Cups and Justice. Taurus, we've got four huge energies here, four major arcana out of six. So whatever you're dealing with is more than just a little speed bump in your life. It's something quite significant. Generally the more major arcana, the more significant the event, because the major arcana, they link to the big themes and pivotal moments in our lives. Obviously we've got the Devil here. When it's mixed with the Seven of Cups, for me that is always some kind of illusionary energy, something that hasn't materialized, expectations that haven't been fulfilled, hollow promises, that kind of thing. And it's justice time for the showdown. I really feel we've got a clash of values here with somebody or a situation. But my goodness, you are moving on, you're moving away, and what you're moving towards is the creation of something new and something much more abundant, fertile, and absolutely beautiful and aligned for you. So, Taurus, let's start with the Oracle cards. We will go over here to Sattva first. Now, this card is all about purity and clarity. And here in the book it says that you've let go of things that are holding you back and you are reaching new levels of clarity. So we can clearly see that this situation was potentially holding you back and also keeping you in a state of disillusionment or confusion. So, it's when that's gone, you might still be in the process of that. That's when you can get that sense of clarity in your life. That's when you can reconnect with your higher self. And that's when, the direction forward will really become clear for you. So it says to continue on this path towards clarity and shedding what no longer serves you. Yeah, so that's exactly, what I can see happening in this reading. And we have Sisterhood of the Rose here, which is about beauty, devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. So that is very much the energy of the Empress. So I feel that the first oracle card here is really about you shedding the old situation. And this one here is really talking about the chapter or the embodiment of being that you're moving into under the Empress energy. So I will read that one out and then we'll go to the tarots. The Sisterhood of the Rose is a lineage of priestesses and mystics who devoted their lives to serving humanity and seeding light consciousness all over the earth. A cross-section of ancient lineages, it is the path of devotion and beauty. Walking this path means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. The rose symbolizes the heart and the sacred geometry of all life. You are being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. Guys, that is absolutely the Empress. The Empress is about reconnecting with the natural rhythms and cycles of not only nature but with your body, especially in terms of the divine feminine. So you're really being asked to, ground yourself, to earth yourself, to reconnect after a period of time where I feel like you might have been a bit disconnected. You might have been a bit led by, mind and over-analyzing. This is about coming back to the heart, coming back to the wisdom of the body. So big key message in that. Okay, let's start at the start with this guy and the Seven of Cups. Yeah, so look, we've got Devil energy here. We've got Seven of Cups. This is definitely an illusion, guys. So think about at the moment, or, you may have moved through this already. This is recent past, but you may also still be letting this go or shedding it. This is some kind of illusionary energy. So the illusions in our lives could be, the relationship that we thought was going to, be the one, or take an expected course and it just didn't. It could be, the expectations that weren't fulfilled, the person that, promised you the world didn't deliver on that. Maybe somebody who, said that they were one person or one thing and turned out to be something else. They could have shown you a different side, a different face. Maybe it's not until you went into this lockdown that, you've kind of seen the truth in them. We can say the same about, workplace situation, an opportunity that just didn't fulfill expectations, fell short, looked one way on the outside, and then when you were sort of lured into this job, and then when you got there, it was long hours, great responsibility, being asked to stay back behind, and became very hard with the work-life balance. It can be that kind of thing. It can be the illusions that we create for ourselves in terms of being led by the ego as well, getting caught up in beautiful things and chasing money and assets and that sort of thing, rather than really getting on our true life path. So that's why we can create illusions for ourselves or buy into illusions and get off our track. So it will be different for everyone because it's a general reading, but that is the kind of energy. On a more sort of traditional meaning of the Devil card, you can be dealing with somebody who is a manipulating force, who potentially has a problem with addiction. Addiction comes in many, many forms. Addiction to money, spending it or gambling it or even making it so that they're not, not there in the relationship for you. Eating, drinking, gaming, all that sort of thing. So, you could be dealing with someone like that. It can also be codependency in a relationship. And, with that Seven of Cups, the Seven of Cups shows intangibility. These cups, almost like the promises or the expectations that you had of the situation that have never materialized, that have always, kept as mirages in the sky, at an arm's length. So it tells me that the situation just didn't work out the way you'd hoped. And it really is time to move yourself from it. And you can see here that the Lovers at the front of the card, they're chained to the Devil, but those chains are loose enough so that they could free themselves, but they do, choose to stay. So I feel like you have stayed in this for quite a while. I think you really wanted to give it your all. You really wanted to see, if things were going to change. But, I think you're at the stage now where you've really realised, well, I don't really have any more time to invest in this. It's just not changing. I'm out. Devil energy is just not sustainable in the long term. That's why he has the bat wings as a metaphor for it drains our life force, especially when we're not happy in a situation or we're always, wanting and craving something else. And that's when we can get really caught up in the stories of, why did it not work out? What's wrong with me? And we can go into that spiral downwards. So this is the week where there is some kind of justice that needs to be brought to this situation. Look at these powerful characters here, Justice and the Hierophant. I feel like there could be some moral difference between you and this individual or situation that you're dealing with. Something different, a difference in values. The Hierophant can talk about, value systems and the values that are handed down to us or imposed on us from another person or institution versus our own true values. This is not aligning with you anymore, and you really want to move towards your own natural rhythms or the natural rhythms of, of nature, of, what you're truly connected with in this life. The Hierophant can also indicate that, you are dealing with somebody in an institutionalized setting, which can be, committed relationship, marriage, a fiance, a boss, a tutor, a colleague, something like that from work or study as well. But, justice comes into a reading when a fair and just modification needs to happen in a situation in order to rebalance those karmic scales of life. So it's saying that something is, out of kilter with the situation and it's time to get things back on track. Now, justice can also indicate some kind of legal proceedings, maybe needing to seek legal advice or get contracts out and see what your rights are before you, step in and have that communication. Make sure you've got all the information. Make sure you know where you stand. Make sure you know where you sit, solidly and grounded before initiating anything here. So, Hierophant's also a number 5, which can be the number of conflict in the tarot. And whenever I see 5s, I always say that, change, because 5 is also the number of change. Change transmutes conflict. So it is time for this adjustment. It is time for things to change and those tables to turn to, really to shift things up in your life. And obviously that can take many forms, but I think it's definitely going to take the form of you removing yourself from the situation and heading towards something far greater. Because we have the Eight of Cups and the Empress. So in the Eight of Cups, we see you turning your back on that past situation and not re-engaging with it. We have you accepting that it was never going to fulfill you. There was always a gap. There was always a missing piece. And even though there might have been a certain amount of good in it, you know, we've got 8 cups here, you know that there's 9 and 10 of cups realities out there that are more fulfilling, that are full of more joy, love, harmony, and satisfaction. And that's what you're truly desiring. So you're ready to go on your way and move towards that, because that's what your intuition is telling you to do. You feel that in your intuitive centers. And I think if you were to stay in that situation, you would always have that niggling feeling. You would always feel that there's something better out there for you. So I feel that that's the time to move on, so you don't have to sit in that discomfort ongoing. And the beautiful Empress, that is where you are heading, into her divine presence. Now, the Empress is the biggest card of possibilities in the tarot. So, Taurus, it's now time to ask yourself, if not this situation, then what? Then what do you truly desire? Because the Empress is the great birther. She is fertile and ready to deliver into the tangible realm your desires. So, unlike these unrealized dreams here and these illusions and mirages, the Empress is the energy that actually delivers. So, you know, this is saying to you that now, if you move on from the situation, get manifesting, get creating, you will have the opportunity to actually create physically and tangibly what you desire. And, you know, it could be a new relationship, it could be a work situation, could be a sense of stability, a change within yourself. But whatever it is, the energy is there. And again, you know, just that reminder of grounding yourself, of connecting with those natural rhythms, tuning into that energy. You know, it's when, we are operating within those natural rhythms, listening to our body, listening to our intuition, that's when things start to flow. That's when we start to magnetize and manifest. And yes, guys, I do believe that is a very, very real thing. If you don't believe it, try letting go of negativity and, you know, working with that process for a month and get back to me. I think it's pretty amazing, and it absolutely works. So that is where you're heading towards, Taurus. I'm super excited for you. It's almost like a big switching of gears, and I think you know it's time as well. You know, this is just not meeting your needs, and how much longer do you want to stay in that energy of dissatisfaction? So let's pull a couple of keywords to close out. Discipline, yeah, okay. Communication, and at the bottom, satisfaction. Yeah, okay. So discipline, I mean, yeah, just making sure that you are keeping a sort of sense of balance and control as you bring this to justice. You know, it's important to use your discretion, be disciplined, and you know, pick your timing and that sort of thing in the situation. Obviously that works in with communication as well. Not allowing things to escalate into an argument, using your discipline to stay focused and in control of this period of time where you might need to sort of move through some difficult conversations and actions. But where it's going to lead you, Taurus, is to satisfaction. That's where you're heading, and that's your reminder of why you're going through this process, because you want that 9 and 10 of Cups reality, which is about fulfillment, and it is about satisfaction, and the Empress is the energy that can help you get there. Beautiful. I feel complete with that, so I'll leave it there. Taurus, I wish you a wonderful week. Do keep in mind it's a general reading, so it won't be for everyone. Leave me a comment. I read them all, and I love to know how it's playing out in your daily life, and I'll be back here next week with you for another reading.